content for the fans. Remember to like, share, subscribe and ring the notification bell for all future content. Come on, you irons! Don't forget, like, subscribe, share the content and tickle that bell.
Hello mate.
Oi, how you doing, brother?
All right, not so bad. Bit early in the morning for me, not long woken up, but you know, I'll get there. Don't worry about that. Well, not much has been happening, as we know.
No.
Due to the sad passing of Her Majesty the Queen.
Yeah.
That was a sad thing. How have Australia been taking that news?
Well, mate, it's been non-stop coverage of it since it happened. It's, I mean, something they've prepared for. You've got a lot of the older generation here in Australia are monarchists, are royalists, especially the guys that can remember 1945, you know, the end of the Second World War and the contribution both countries, collaboration maybe, a better word, of it. And Australia, you know, were a big part of that, with the Anzacs, Australia and New Zealand for that matter.
Yeah.
And so there is a lot. The younger generation, not so much, but there is a feeling of loss, even here in Australia. You know, of that lady, and from people that are not necessarily monarchists or pure royal fans, but they do appreciate the 70 years she's put in, and there's been a lot of coverage about it.
Yeah, of course. And you know, true to her word, you know, she was working right to the end, serving the country and the Commonwealth. So you know, I'm not particularly a royalist or a monarchist or anything, but I have a healthy respect for the royal family. You know, and it is a sad loss. You know, that's all we've known all our lives, Cieran, really, but to be honest.
That's it. I mean, all I've ever known is one ruler, one monarch. Am I a royalist? Not at all. But do I respect the work that she's put in, the service she's put in? Oh, yeah, totally. And I'll go back to 1977, the Silver Jubilee.
Yeah.
We had a street party. Now, you've got to remember, my family were Irish immigrants to England, to London. And my mother, decorated the house. She helped organise the street party. And to celebrate that Silver Jubilee in 1977, and I remember it really well. And you know, so that tells you what an influence that woman was. She was a strong woman, as my mother was, a real patriarch, you know, a real strong lady, and my mother was the same. And I think she appreciated that and the strength in that lady, with all everything she'd had to deal with. And I say I'm not a pro-royalist or anti-royalist. I'm neither. I'm on the fence with her, but I do appreciate her. There are some members, the newer members of that royal family, I don't appreciate. And I wish some of them would stay in LA, and we never see them again. But there you go.
Yeah. You know, you recalling the Silver Jubilee and the street parties and stuff. I mean, we had one in Crawley. Well, there were plenty of them in Crawley, but we had one in the street I lived in. Now, at that time, you know, it was like a row of houses one side, row of houses the other side, and in between was just a small green. And that's where we used to kick a ball about or play rounders or whatever, you know. I mean, it was our
posh.
Yeah, it was our, you know, it was our playground. And you know, my mum and a couple of the neighbours between them, you know, they went round all the houses in the street, collecting up any red, white, or blue material they could to make buntings to go across the street.
Yeah, it was, mate.
Really, really nice, you know. And one of my neighbours, his name's Paul Roberts, and he was one of the regulars on a TV show with Eddie Waring called It's a Knockout. Do you remember that?
I remember Eddie Waring, mate. Oh, yes.
And do you remember the show It's a Knockout?
Yeah, very well. Yeah, very well.
Well, Paul used to be one of the regulars on it. You know, he was, you know, one of the crew members or something. But he was very athletic, and in fact, he turned out a couple of years later to be my PTI instructor in the Royal Air Force, actually. But yeah, so this guy Paul, he, as I said, was a regular on It's a Knockout, and he approached the production team and asked if for the Jubilee we could borrow some of the equipment from that show to you know, to have an It's a Knockout competition in the street. They agreed. They gave us, I think it was 10 outfits and a few other bits and bobs, you know, some equipment, and we had a little It's a Knockout competition, and that, as you say, that was the kind of pull that woman had, that the Queen had. Sorry, I don't mean to be disrespectful, but the kind of pull that she had was that because it was in celebration of her Silver Jubilee, you know, this TV production allowed us to use thousands of pounds worth of equipment for a street party, you know, without being paid for it, without any insurance on it or anything like that.
Exactly. It was a massive event in the country.
Huge. More so than any of the other subsequent ones.
It was massive, and especially amongst communities all over the country. It was a massive event, and I remember it well, celebrating it and looking forward to it. And I didn't even what was I then? I was 16, 15.
Yeah, I was 15.
And I didn't really realise what it was about, probably at that age, but it was still a great event. It brought the whole street together, and everyone was enjoying it.
Yeah, it was just an excuse for us all to get out there and have a giggle and just have a party. It was great. You know, it was kind of, my mum back then, you know, I remember her telling me it was kind of reminiscent of the VE parties they had in the streets after the war, you know, the VE Day parties and stuff. So yeah, it was great. And you know, and as you alluded to earlier, Cieran, you know, 70 years of service, mate. I mean, that's unheard of in any field, isn't it? Really,
to be fair. Special, hey?
You know,
70 years of a job anywhere it's worth a gold watch, isn't it, mate?
Oh God, definitely. I think she's earned herself 2 or 3 of them, hasn't she? Do you know what I mean? And now we've got, you know, King Charles III, a new realm, a new monarch, and a new era of life for us in Britain. And so we move on.
The Queen is dead. Long live the King. That's
long live the King. Exactly that. You know, and I know there are critics and you know, people be negative about it, but you know, I'm not one of those. I think that it's going to be a wonderful time. Can you leave one of those for me, please, Sean? One of those.
Please.
Yeah. Thanks. And yeah, I think it's going to be. I think we're going to be a little bit more prosperous because already, Charles has been working on certain aspects of prosperity for the country anyway. So now that he is the monarch, we may see a little more action on those projects that he's been involved with. Who knows?
Maybe.
Yeah. Moving on. Well, there isn't a lot of football to talk about because, as we discussed, the passing of Her Majesty has put stop to everything in the way of football. Anyway, last weekend, we are told that there are going to be a few games this weekend, of which Everton versus West Ham is one of the games that will be on.
Yeah.
We also know that Thursday night's game, as we recorded on a Tuesday, on Thursday, our game against Stelborg, is it?
Silkeborg or Silkeborg.
Silkeborg. Yeah, that game's going to go ahead. Now, we don't know an awful lot about them, and according to Anton, I believe it was, and I think also it was referenced by Stel last night, that they're around about a mid-table championship quality team. That's roughly where they would sit if they were in the British League system.
Yeah, I heard from just watching that comment on I was watching Rusty B earlier. Yeah. From the guy in his chat called Fremmer, who's from that area. It's not far. He lives not far from Silkeborg, right. And he reckons they're just a bit better than Viborg that we just played. They're a bit better than them. Right. So that's the kind of sort of standard we're looking at. They're a bit better than them. So they're no mugs, and they're not rubbish. All right, and I've seen them in Europe for years.
Yeah,
so
that's the kind of competition we need up against us. Someone that's going to challenge us and stretch us a little bit. And
I don't think there'll be a pushover. I think we'll have to, be on our mettle a little bit because we weren't on our mettle against Viborg in that first half. We switched it up in a second, and we sort of overrun them in the end.
Yeah,
but they did cause us problems. They really did cause us problems, and this team will be the same if we're not on it. We can't just throw out a load of kids because this team they're seriously strong professional players, and you've got to respect that. And I think we will. And I think we will, and we'll put out a good team.
And I think this is, kind of half of the reason why Tottenham didn't progress in this competition last season, was because they didn't take it seriously. They assumed that they were going to walk through it. I think that's the kind of impression that I've got from.
I sort of got the impression they didn't want to be in it, Budge.
I think they felt it was below them because they've been in Champions
League. As they would, because they're pretentious wankers.
Which is a shame because any competition is worthy of your effort. I think. If you're going to get it,
When I actually watched that Conference League final, and you had Roma against who was it? Rangers.
Yeah.
Mate, it was good, and Roma and Mourinho was delighted to win that. The inaugural trophy of that competition. He was delighted to win it, mate. Yeah. Over the moon. And their fans were. You mean a trophy is a trophy. No matter what one it is. No. We've been starved of them for a long time now, Bunch. So
exactly and this competition is a perfect way for us to get our feet back on the ground, on the same ground as other clubs, bit of silverware, a little bit of prestige from having won a European competition, which, as you said, last season had some great teams in it. As you said, Roma, Rangers. There were one or two other decent teams I can't think of at the moment.
And you're going to get that, you're going to get that drop down for Europa League as well, and it could be anywhere. And that's what happens. And I know I'm looking forward to this. I mean, that's still a good European night the other day, apart from the first half, which was hard to watch. I actually watched the second half back again, Budge, just to get context. Because you know when you're watching it when it's live, the emotion you sort of miss a lot. So I wanted to watch it again, and I especially watched Flynn Downs, his contribution in it, and just and don't get carried away with he had a great game and that's it. I watched what he did, and my word, he did have a great game. He really was cool, calm, collected when he passed the ball and received it, and I was really impressed by him in that. I know it's not a top team he's playing, but I just liked the way he moved the ball. I liked how Kara worked in that game. Paqueta, to me, he was quite loose. When I watched that second half, he was loose in some of his passing, but some of his passing was fantastic. So he's coming on, and he will get better and better, and I do believe that. And there was so many, and Fornals Antonio for me came on and just controlled the game. They made the difference. They were superb, absolutely superb. And that you can see why Fornals is a favourite of Moyes, because of the work he puts in and some of the passes he does try. It was a good second half to rewatch. With some West Ham games, it's hard to rewatch, isn't it? Because you go,
I mean, I love Fornals. I think he's great. For me, there isn't anybody better in the squad that first time ball passing. The ball will come to him. He sees a pass over the top or through the middle or down the line that not many other players are seeing. No. And he gets that ball out and to feet.
He can do it, Budge.
Someone else would have thought of it,
And that's what we're hoping. I think Paqueta can be that as well, at least that and more.
Yeah. And that's with Scamacca loving to play on the last man's shoulder. I think that's going to be quite something. Once it starts settling down.
I mean, when Paqueta finds his feet, then we'll start to see some brilliance. Yeah. Well, we will do. I can see it that the boy's got it. To me, it was a bit slack with some of his passing there on the other night, but you just know he's always looking to make that pass that's going to split defences, and I think the boy's got the quality to do it. So he will.
I do too. I do.
We can change the way we play a little bit, and I'm hoping that Moyes does adjust to what he's got now, and I think he will. I think he has to, and we could be more exciting to watch, especially in that first 45. I'm hoping that's the case.
Yeah. Are we seeing the last season at West Ham for Manuel Lanzini? Do you think?
I think so, mate. Yeah, I think so. This will be his last hurrah.
Yeah.
I presume he'll make it the whole season and not go in January, but it's a possibility that it could go in January. But I think it will be Lanzini's last hurrah. Shame though. He's been a great player for us. He really has.
He has, and up until this window, he was still. Since Payet, he was still the most technically gifted player we had.
Superb.
He's got a very, very good technique about his play when he's on song. When he's firing on all 8 cylinders, he really has got good technique about him. And up until we got Paqueta and Cornet and the likes of those guys, I think his technicality was unchallenged at West Ham.
It is, but I mean, there's always a time to move on, isn't there? And this is the time,
Yeah.
This is his time.
I mean, the thing is, he always said he wanted to finish his career at River Plate. Looks like he will. Good luck to him. I mean, I'm not being funny or nothing, but if I was to go to Argentina on any kind of journey, trip or whatever, I would definitely go and watch River Plate because, for the fact that an ex-West Ham player would be there. It would be quite something to go and see him play for his boyhood club, I think.
Wouldn't it?
But, he, as you said, he's been a great servant to us. And, I think it will be his last.
And he's one of them players, Budge, is never going to leave with any bad will, mate. It's just going to be what it is. you know, and he's been a great player for us. He's starting to get older now,
Yeah,
and we have to move on. And
I thought he was going to leave after Payet left, and
yeah,
I was quite
did
sorry
too,
that he was going to leave. And when he didn't, it was quite a relief for me, because I thought, well, you know, we need that flair player, and he was that for a little while.
He was,
us,
and
go on.
part of Payet's success was Lanzini. You know?
Most
they
definitely.
work so well together.
Yeah,
you know, it was part of it. You know,
I mean, sometimes you find a partnership that really, really works, don't you? You know, and that was it. You know, and you know, back in the day, it would have been, you know, Cotty and McAvenny. That was a partnership that really worked. You know, and it doesn't matter where on the field that partnership is, if it works.
If it works,
it can be.
I'll say there's nothing better than having a pairing, whether it be up front in the midfield or your two centre halves that work well together. Most teams that have ever won a league or trophies usually have two centre halves, especially, that work really well together. And I think we've still yet to find that, because we're not sure now whether, you know, Zuma, Agard, Dawson's only here for, I believe, a short period of time. We'd be lucky if we see him after January. So you got Cieran now, which I believe Cieran could be our future right back if.
Look, in this window, in the last couple of windows, because you've got to include Kurt Zuma in this, he has bought some incredibly good defensive players.
Yeah,
you know, we know what Cieran's like now. We've seen him. I've been impressed with him. I've heard you say similar stuff. You know,
I just think, Budge, of all the people we've bought, and you know, when we look at that transfer window, he could be the surprise of all of them, to be probably the best pound for pound signing we've made. You know, it could be.
Yeah.
It's early days. I know it's early days.
Of Craig Dawson, because I really
don't.
Yeah.
No, I meant in this window, Budge.
Yeah.
Just this window.
I was going to say that I don't think anybody has made a signing.
No. Craig Dawson is a god. He's a god. No one can beat him.
Not for value for money, they can't. You know.
No.
I mean,
and his effort. He's done well.
And you know, and his goal contribution as well. Okay, what is it? 8 goals he's had since he's been with us, something like that. 7 or 8 goals, and every one of them has been important goals. They've really got us on the road to victory in that game. You know,
mate. I forgive. He's one of them players, Budge. You can forgive all his mistakes because of the effort that boy puts in every week, every game.
Agreed.
And you really appreciate it.
Yeah, he was, you know, quoted as being saddened by his decision to, you know, want to go back to his family and stuff, because he didn't want to leave the club, but also, you know, obviously he wanted to be with his family.
Yeah, and that's fair enough.
You know, I tip my hat to him for agreeing to continue this season.
I do, but
I think twilight season, I'm honest with you.
It must be tough, but you know, the boy has done everything we've asked him to do, and that's all you can. And I say, you know, when all of us sort of turned our noses up when he was signed, and I don't think there's many that didn't.
No.
And I went, oh, really? And for him to step up to the play, especially after Ogbonna had gone down, was, you know, I think he's been fabulous. Does he make mistakes? Yes, he does, mate. But you cannot question that boy's effort. His effort is
his commitment to the cause. You know, his commitment is incredibly good.
It is incredible.
You know, it's gonna be sad when he does go, but you know,
it is, because but you know, when they were talking about him going, I was gutted, because you know, he was just going to go and there was no send off. The season hadn't started, or you know, you couldn't even say, fuck, you know, hang on, steady up. Craig,
Yeah.
we'd like to say
Yeah.
goodbye to you, mate. We really would, because
Yeah.
you've been great.
At least, you know, give him a standing ovation or something for even like
Yeah,
you know, like
he deserves it.
a cameo appearance like he did on Thursday. Something like that. That would have just given us as a fan base a chance
Yeah,
to say goodbye.
something. Bye-bye, Craigie boy. Thank you very much. You've been superb for us. We've loved
He
you.
has indeed. He's been absolutely great, and unfortunately, not long enough service to warrant a, you know, testimonial or anything like that. But you know, he has our gratitude, you know, and our admiration. You know, I mean, I think when he does go back up north, he'll probably end up signing for someone like Rochdale or, you know, one of the
Or Nottingham Forest.
Or yeah,
They're signing everyone.
yeah. But no, I think he'll go further north than the Midlands. I don't think he'll play in the
I
Midlands.
don't know. He's based in the Midlands, so there's every chance
he?
it could be Midlands
I
club.
thought he was based up at up near Manchester, you know, up in Lancashire.
No, I was told he's based in the Midlands.
Oh, well,
So,
in that case, that may be the case then.
well, there's a plethora of clubs he could go to if someone wanted him. So,
yeah, Wolves.
could be anyone. Birmingham, Villa, Wolves,
Yeah.
Nottingham Forest, Derby.
Leicester.
Yeah, Leicester.
They're all there. They're all there. Who else should we talk about then? Who else? Well, let's have a little flick through the signings we've made on. You know, let's have a little.
Yeah, they're all shite. They're all shite, mate.
We'll do a little rating on the transfer itself, not on the player per se, about how you feel the transfer, you know, warrant.
Yeah,
you know,
window itself.
Yeah, we'll start at the back and we'll work our way forward to the striker. So, Areola, what are your views on that, mate? I mean, last night
it
I
was
stated that it was a transfer that we as a fan base wanted. You know, we had this try before you buy loan deal with him. And that he wanted the club wanted him. For me, it was the perfect scenario. I gave the transfer a 9 out of 10. Yeah.
I didn't quite get to 9, Budge, because I wanted someone else. But that doesn't mean it weren't a good transfer. It was a no-brainer, really. If the geezer still wanted to come after we'd had him on loan, to me, it is a 9 out of 10. But I wanted Nick Pope. So,
I know you did,
I know. For the same sort of money. You know what I mean? It was the same sort of money, and Newcastle got him. I would have preferred him, but that's just a personal thing. That's just a personal choice. I think he's the next England goalkeeper.
You know, there are pros and cons to having Nick Pope in you know, instead of Areola. But I think there are more pros for the Areola signing than there are for Pope. I mean, he's got World Cup squad experience. He's got Europa squad experience. You know,
but I believe Pope's going to go on to be the next England goalkeeper, and it gives us another English player. That's the pros of that for me.
Yeah, of course.
Right,
yeah,
but as a signing, I think it was a no-brainer. We had to get him in, and I'm glad we nailed it first and done it. Yeah, it was a good signing.
Okay, so then we got now for Guerd. Now I said, look, I'll give the transfer a 7 because unfortunately we haven't had a chance.
We don't know. We can only go by.
Yeah,
I'll only go by. That was the first target that, you know, outside of West Ham, you know, for getting Areola, that Moyes went for and he got it. So he really wanted him. So I can only go by that it's going to be a good signing, but we don't know, do we? The poor boy got injured, and we'll have to wait and see with that one.
Yeah. Let's move across to Emerson. Now, I said, you know, he reminded me of a left-footed Ryan Fredericks, but with less defensive capability and more attacking prowess. I gave the signing an 8 out of 10 because I'd watched him when he was at Chelsea because of obviously my brother being a Chelsea fan. And in training, you know, he was able to handle players like Diego Costa and the likes of Fernando Torres and those kinds of players. He was handling them in training. So, you know, I thought he looked good. And I was really pleased with the signature. I gave that an 8 out of 10 as well.
Yeah, I wasn't so keen.
No,
be honest. And be honest, Budgie, it's not because of him. I think it's because of the players I was looking at, right? Zinchenko and Ram. And I wanted them, right? And I think they might have been a bit out of our reach, right? You know, for the money and the wages and everything else. And so I felt disappointment when Emerson was thrown up. I went, oh, really? Because I just had higher expectations for a left back. But that doesn't mean he isn't a good player. The jury's out with me with him. I think he has to prove it to me. For me, he has to prove it, and only time will tell with that one. I'd give it a 6 out of 10 for me, and but I'm hoping that boy proves me wrong because against Viborg, he was forward. He was really good. He was really supporting the front, and he was chasing up there. He was getting involved. And I'm delighted he got himself a goal. I mean, that could give his confidence, you know, build it up no end. And that was great. But he's the only one of the signings that I was a bit,
you kind of feel like you can settle in a bit easier if you get yourself a goal early.
Yeah, I think so. And it's good for him. And I hope that is good for him. I hope.
Yeah.
And it's really all about what Moyes' formation that he plays, whether he plays 3 at the back, 4 at the back, where he plays, what his role is. I'm not sure what his role is going to be yet. But going forward, I like him. Defending, not so much. No.
And, you know, Moyes and the gang will probably work on that side of things with him. Yeah, hopefully, anyway. And like I said, I feel like we've got a decent signing in Emerson. Moving on, Thilo Kehrer.
Oh, well, mate, I think, like I said, this boy could be a cracking signing for us. I reckon that boy's got potential to be a great centre half, a defensive midfielder, or right back. He's already played 25 times for Germany as right back. You know, so the boy's flexible, and I've really been impressed by him. I've really been impressed by this guy. I love his speed and his passing ability.
We were also informed last night that under the current German national management team, that Kehrer is the most capped player for Germany.
Yeah, under this regime, So that tells you the boy's got quality.
That's a strong word to use, isn't it? Regime, when you're talking about Germany.
Yeah, it should be. You say regimes, mate. They did have a regime a little while ago. It fell on its arse in the end.
But Thilo Kehrer, I agree. I think he's got the potential to be one of the greatest centre backs we've had in a long time. And you know, a fan favourite. Yes, I believe he is, and will continue to be.
I think he will be. I think he will be.
The signature a 9 out of 10, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I'm up there with that, Budge. I think he could be the best signing we've made of all these signings. I really do. And I don't believe, and I'll tell you this, Budge. Do you know what's weird about it? A bit like Dawson. I don't believe we were ever going to sign Kehrer until Agger got injured. Right? It was never on the radar. Right? He might have been, you know, one of them third picks, whatever. But when Agger got injured, we went and got him. And I reckon, you know, it was a false sort of buy. And I think it could be the best buy we've got. I really do. I think it could be a cracking signing. I like him. And when you got Moyes hinting at the fact that the boy's stepping up in the dressing room as well, and he can talk, and he talks a good game, and he's good in the dressing room as well. That's a real bonus.
It's all bonuses, isn't it? You know, it's great. It's great for the squad to have players that are vocal and, you know, encouraging, etc., etc.
Exactly.
Moving further forward slightly, on the same side as Mr. Emerson, we have Maxwell Cornet. What do you think of that as a signing?
But it's a signing I wanted, Budge. It's
too.
something I mentioned about 6 months ago. I wouldn't mind that boy.
Yeah.
Is he yet to really impress me? Yeah, he hasn't really impressed me yet. But I'm expecting that. I'm expecting all these players to have a settling in period with, you know, a new team, new players. But yeah, it's going to be for Paqueta. It's the same for all of them. Okay, I reckon it's going to take time. But he hasn't over impressed me yet. But I've got to think back to when I watched him at Burnley, and I went, "Wow, this boy's got a bit. I like him." And so I'm going to stick to that.
What kind of rating would you give it as a signing?
I'd give an 8 out of 10.
Me too.
I mean, the boy is
a player I ideally wanted, you know. Agreed. Like yourself, Cieran, you know, I watched him at Burnley. I've watched a few video rolls of him in other clubs, and you know, I actually believe that Maxwell Cornet will surprise a lot of people, and don't be too surprised if he's in for a shout of Hammer of the Year within the next year or so, because
possibility.
I think he's definitely got the capability, and you know, he's got everything he needs to get himself in as contention for that. He just the only thing he does need is playing time.
You know? Yeah, he needs minutes on the pitch, Raj.
Yeah,
and he ain't going to get them all the time because, you know, now we've got a squad. We've got a squad of players, and but I say he hasn't set the world alight yet. But you can see bits of him that go, "Oh yeah, this boy's going to be." He's a good player. He's a good player, and just needs to settle in, have a bit more game time, and then we might see the best of him.
And then moving slightly across into midfield, we got young Finn Downs. How do you rate that as a signing?
I always thought when we signed him, I thought he was one for the future, right?
Yeah.
And so I do believe for that money, with his stats and everything else that came with him, I think it's a great signing. I don't believe it's a signing that we're going to use as a first pick week in, week out. But after watching his second half performance against Freiburg, and I know it's not a Premier League team, but it was so intelligent what he was doing. It was real quality.
And the thing I liked about him,
just got to grow.
The thing I liked about him was I like to call it round the clock passing. Doesn't matter what direction it's in.
No.
The boy can pass. The boy can pass. He can spot a pass, and he can thread a pass through. He can loft them over the top. He can do all sorts. Kind of reminds me of a young Mark Noble with his distribution of the ball.
Get it, hold it, contain it, and you
a little bit more forward thinking than Mark Noble. Agreed, but not much. But you know, a real decent
bad comparison, Budge. It's not a bad comparison.
I give signing an 8 last night.
No, I think it's an 8, but it's a future 8. You know, it's a future 10. Hopefully,
yeah. It's an 8 on the potential. Yeah,
his intelligence on the ball it doesn't matter which way he passes the ball. He retains the ball and he passes it and doesn't lose it. Yeah, we've had too many players in the last year in our team losing that ball from a wayward pass. Yeah. I mean, Paqueta done it the other night. You know, when I watched that second half, he lost it 3 times by a wayward pass. Right? He will get better. I've no doubt about that.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
Flynn Downs hardly. I don't remember him making a pass that didn't make its mark.
Yeah.
He was doing
And, you know,
everything
you've
that
got
he
to
was
remember
meant to
with all
do.
of these players, you know, getting your eye into your teammates is also a factor. You know,
Yeah,
like some of these players have never played in claret and blue or dark blue or white and orange before in their lives. You know, so you know, it's getting your eye into your teammates. That's really important, and it's overlooked
and it
a
will
lot.
come. And it will come for Flynn Downs too. I mean, like I say, this was a substandard team, if you want to call it that. But everything he did to me was what he should be doing, right?
Yeah,
Retaining the ball, keep possession, use it sensibly. And even in the first half, he picked the pass to Skamaka, put him straight through on goal, and
yeah,
he scuffed a shot, but he created a chance
yeah,
for a goal. It's a good punt. So
yeah. And that's
really
exactly
impressive
the kind of through
performance.
ball that Skamaka will thrive on. So let's move on to Skamaka as we're talking about him. We'll leave Paqueta till last. Skamaka, he's scored a couple of goals. He's shown a few real decent movements into the box, etc. He loves to hang on to the shoulder of the last man, which is really refreshing because we haven't really had that since Andy Carroll. I know Antonio does like to do that on occasion, but I think Antonio's more keen on running at the players with the ball rather than running in behind. I think he's more efficient at running at them with the ball. With Skamaka, I gave the signature a 9 out of 10. I mean, the guy's an Italian number 9, international, and he's got the potential to really lift West Ham's attacking prowess. So I gave the signing a 9, not the player per se, the signing. So what about you, mate? Skamaka.
The signing is a good signing if, and it's a big if we use him right.
Yeah.
If we use him right. I was surprised at the signing, to be honest. I just didn't think this was a Moyes type of striker at all. And I still don't. But if we change the way we play, which I think has to be on the cards, Budge, has to be, then this guy could be dynamite.
Yeah.
If we leave him stranded there on his own as a one up front sort of player, I think we're wasting his talents. We're wasting them. And I don't believe we will, because can't work out why would you buy him if you were.
Yeah,
I think has to have players
Moyes
around
has
him.
sort of signified his intent by the players that he's brought around him, though. You know, the likes of Maxwell, Flynn Downs. We'll get on to
Paqueta,
Paqueta in a minute, but I think these are the players that are signed with Skamaka's role in mind.
Exactly.
I think
I'm hoping that's the case.
That are going to play to his strengths rather than against them.
I agree. I think it has to come in a package. We can't just sign this player and throw him up, then go right, then go and score a goal.
Yeah, we're going to have another Haller situation.
We have brought in the players to feed him, to support him. Just about the formation we play is going to dictate.
I mean, even Emerson to a major degree is a part of that as well, because, like you said, breaking forward, Emerson is great, and you know, bringing crosses in from the left with a natural left footer. That's that's the kind of delivery that Skamaka absolutely thrived on when he was
absolutely. But he's very good. What I've noticed about him, he's very good at coming deep as well, receiving the ball. And I thought straight away, this is when Rice powers up, and I can see Rice giving him the ball to his feet, and then you'll see Skamaka then laying it off to Fornals or Paqueta, and then spinning and getting into the box. That's what I can see happening.
And also I can see him in a little bit of space, 20, 25 yards out, and having a go,
digging it.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I've seen him score from probably 38 yards, in training. He's got a shot on him. He's definitely got a shot on him.
He's one of them, Budge. I would put at the moment a 7 out of 10 on him. If we play the right system for him, he's going to be a 10 out of 10. As simple as that. It's all about what system Moyes plays. Yeah, and I'm hoping. I mean, I'd love that. I know it won't happen, but I'd love to see Scamacca and Antonio up front, right? We're two up front.
But and that's not beyond the realms of possibility, because
it's not. It's not.
He played Antonio and
might tell you different
up front together a couple of times, and that really worked well.
It did.
We'll see. We will see. But for you, as you said, the jury is out. But for me, the actual signing itself, I gave it a 9.
Good signing. It's a very good signing, mate. It's as simple as it
and
is.
For me, we've saved the best till last. Lucas Paquetá, or however you want to pronounce his name.
Apparently, according to that commentator the other day, that's not even his name, is it? He comes from a region in Rio de Janeiro, or an island. I'm sure he said island. It's called Paquetá. So the real pronunciation of his name is Paquetá. But we can call him whatever we like, can't we? Because we're West Ham.
Yeah, we generally do.
So Paquetá, for the sake of argument tonight, he's called Paquetá, right?
Yeah.
Paquetá, oh mate, there's glimpses of him, and you go, wow. And there's other glimpses, you go, ooh, he's not quite there yet. He's not to the pace, and he hasn't gelled with his teammates yet. That's all that is. But the boy is quality. He's quality. There's no doubt about it, mate. Apparently, what even the commentator said, mate. If you don't know who this boy is, he said watch some Brazil games, and him and Neymar together. He said they're unbelievable. So that tells you,
we've got the Brazilian number 10, first.
We have Brazilian number 10, Kaiser.
And that is a revered position in the Brazilian or any of the South American national teams. The number 10 position is always the most revered position.
Yeah.
Now
in Argentina and Brazil,
10, for the first time ever, we've got him. We've got the number 10.
Exactly.
And look, I'm not under any delusions that we've got him on 5-year deal or anything like that, or that we will keep him for more than 2 seasons. I've got a funny feeling that he will be headhunted by everybody.
If he performs, which I believe he will.
Yeah. So for me, signing him on the strength of the prestige of his national team position, etc. The amount of plaudits he's had from the clubs that he's played for, etc. From what I've seen of him, the reception he got when he came on for his first appearance against Tottenham was beyond belief. It was great. It was fantastic. He must have felt really good stepping out onto that green to that reception. And the fact that I've seen him play a bit, I gave the signing a 10 out of 10, if I'm honest. Because, we have got, as I said, first choice number 10. Never happened to us before, the Brazilian number 10. Statistically and, historically, the Brazilians have always been right up there with
absolutely.
Positions.
Well,
so
like you, Budge,
we find ourselves in a very fortunate position of having potentially one of the best playmakers in the game for years to come. We're losing Messi and Ronaldo. Neymar isn't quite as good a player as everybody first thought he was, or he's not performing at the levels that we expect of a player of that quality anyway. And Paquetá, he's got the opportunity now to step up and become that player. And within West Ham's group, I believe that he will be the next player that we revere as highly as we did Dimitri Payet. You know, I think he's definitely got the potential to even to surpass that. You know, to become as revered as perhaps Paolo Di Canio was.
He's got the potential, out of doubt. And like you, Budgie, I'm not judging it. Like I said, I just criticised him for some of his lack passing the other night. But that's him just settling in and getting used to the team and gelling. As a signing, I'll judge him on a signing. I agree with you. I think it's a 10 out of 10 signing. Absolutely. This boy potentially could be an absolute superstar. And all we've got to do is make sure he is and give him the tools to do it. If West Ham and Moyes give him the tools and the freedom to do what he does, I think we've got a superstar on our hands. We've just got to make the most of him. And I think it's a great signing. An absolute 10 out of 10 signing.
Yeah.
It really is.
And that concludes our little rundown of our summer signings.
Not bad, guys. Do you remember I had a little discussion with Charlie Walsh, and he killed me because I said, look, we'll spend 80 or 90 million this window. And he went, no, I don't think we'll spend more than 50. I went, Charlie, what are you doing to me? Come on, we've got to spend more. Never in my wildest expectations would I have said that we're going to spend 170, 180 million. My God.
50 million of that on one man.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'd never expected that. That was...
we spent Charlie Walsh's entire budget on one player.
Exactly, yeah. Walshy, what are you saying to me? What are you doing? But yeah, but I believe Charlie because he's good. Charlie's so good at picking things, and he knows more about the finances of West Ham and everything else. And I went, oh no, oh,
but,
am I too optimistic?
I bet you any money you like. I bet you any money you like. Charlie will be pleasantly surprised at the outcome of this window. In fact, I know he will be.
Like us all, yeah.
Yeah. And, you know, it's been a fantastic window. Let's hope it's going to be a fantastic season. It's going to be an odd one because obviously we've got the international break next week.
Yeah.
We've also got the World Cup coming up at the end of November.
It's going to be a weird season.
It's going to be a strange one. But, hey, look, all we can do is put our 11 men out there every week and do the best we can.
It's simple as that. And once they all gel, Budge, once they all gel, we'll start seeing a bit more quality and a bit more excitement in the team and a bit more attacking play. And I think we'll be right. I think we'll be good.
Yeah.
It's just going to take a bit of time. People got to be a bit patient about getting all these. You know, you can't just throw 8 players into a team and expect it all to be all brilliant straight away. It will take time. But once it's done, once they get to know each other, and that, I think we've got a good side, mate. And we've got a good bench for a change. One of my pet hates is our bench has been so bad. Now we've got a good...
And I was going to bring that up with you, Cieran, because you mentioned it last night when we had a chat. That for the first time in many years, it wasn't really the starting 11 that impressed you. It was the bench.
It was the bench. Yes. And I think it's so important. So important.
And, you know, like,
Man City prove that every week. Every week. You look at Man City's bench every week. You go, wow, look what they've got to come on. And we've got that now. We've got that.
We have got that now. To a much better degree than we've had in many, many years. So let's hope. Let's hope that David Moyes handles it right, and you know, and he's tactically astute enough to use the players correctly. I'm sure he is. I mean, we've had no real doubts about Moyes up until the beginning of this season, when we've had a poor start. It's the first time we've had a poor start under Moyes. So
that's true.
Look, we've got to have faith in that man. I mean, he's brought us from the doldrums of fighting for relegation to qualifying for Europe 2 seasons running. That is no mean feat. That is no mean feat. I don't even think John Lyall did that. In fact, I know he didn't.
I have to think back. No.
Yeah,
but
I think you'll find that
but he did put 2 trophies on the board, right? So.
Yeah, he did, but not 2 European competitions back to back.
I know. No, but the difference is with Moyes now is he inherited a team and he's changed it and he's done 2 great seasons. Now, basically, this is his team.
Yeah.
And so,
we are still seeing remnants of the original squad that he inherited, and players that he's keen to get back into the side as well, like Ogbonna. I know he wants to use Ogbonna. He's a big fan of Ogbonna. I know that. I've seen him mention.
We all are. But
unfortunately, I am too. But unfortunately, I don't think Ogbonna is still 90 minutes Premiership quality anymore.
He might not be, but at the end of the day, Budge, he's got to look at it that, like Lanzini and Ogbonna, this will be their last season at West Ham.
Yeah.
And Cresswell for me. Right?
Well, there are 6 players apparently that are in their final season with us.
Exactly. Well, there's 3, I think, at the end of the season. And if you include Dawson, there's 4. Who might not even, he might only get to January.
Fabianski being number 5, I would
think. Fabianski. So we are rebuilding. We are rebuilding. I mean, we probably should have done it earlier rather than do it all in one hit, but there you go.
Isn't this Declan Rice's last year of his contract?
No, it's not his last year.
We got an extension.
It's not his last year, Budge, but it will be his last year at West Ham.
Probably, mate. Yeah.
Probably.
Sad to say.
Sad to say, but I think it will be.
Yeah.
On that really miserable note.
Yeah, actually,
he's going to be here for the rest of his career. Fuck it.
We're coming up to the hour, so we'll start wrapping it up. Well, in summary, we're happy with the signings that we've made.
We are. It's a great window. We've had a great window.
Concerned at some of the individual performances so far, but we can see potential for improvement in every one of those players that we had any concerns about. Really and truly, things are looking pretty rosy for us.
Yeah. We've all been a bit miserable because of the start of the season. Yeah. But when you look at what we bought and what we've invested in that squad, it's fucking fantastic. Absolutely amazing, really. Yeah. And we've got to look to that and getting this squad to play like a proper Premier League team, which I believe will happen. And if it doesn't, obviously Moyes won't be here that long. But he has to make it work. And I think, he didn't buy these players for him to fail. He bought these players so he could thrive. So I believe it will happen. And I don't see why it wouldn't. I don't see why it wouldn't. We've bought real quality and we've got a better squad, a better bench and a better team. So why not?
Yeah. And obviously, we've got a more experienced manager now because he's done another season with some decent achievement in it. So that I think right now we're probably in the best position we've been in a long time to challenge for Europe again. We've had a crap start to the season, but nobody nobody judges the entire season by the opening 5 games, do they?
No, we can still challenge for the top 6, and I think that's where we are. We're gonna. But believe you me, if we weren't and we push on the Conference League and won it, it wouldn't bother me if we finished 10th. If we won a trophy, wouldn't bother me. Or even getting to the final.
I think 10th is probably the lowest I would accept now.
Yeah, I think 10th is the worst will be. But I must say, at the beginning of the season, I did pick 11th. But that's before we spent 180 million.
Yeah, that was before we spent a bloody quid. Yeah. So
I don't want negative
congratulations to the board and the management for a successful purchasing window. Let's hope that they prove to be the players that we all hope and pray that they are. I'm fairly sure that if David Moyes and Rob Newman have had anything to do with any of them signings, I'm pretty sure we've done good business in the window.
Yeah,
regardless of how much money we've spent. I think the personnel we've brought in have been.
And according to Rusty B, we might even have a Kajugugu coming in.
Yeah.
On a free, you never know. Could be one more.
Yeah, true. Yeah. Who is a decent centre back, I've been told. Injury prone, but decent.
Injury prone centre back. It's right up our street, mate. We'll have him.
Yeah. Definitely a West Ham player. Right, brilliant. So, Cieran, thank you for joining me again today. I have got a little bit of everything to do, as you know. I'll get this out in the next couple of days. What am I thinking? What are your plans for Sunday? We're not playing Sunday or anything now, so you got any plans for Sunday?
We are playing.
We are playing Sunday. God, yes, we are. Okay. Well, we'll have a chat Sunday, and if I'm not too drunk, perhaps I might put something together. And if you're available, you can hop on as well.
Well, you let me know. You let me know, bro. If I'm available, I'll be there. You know that.
Excellent. Okay. Well, look, give my best to Cieran, and obviously, both of you stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll catch up with you real soon, mate. Okay.
Yeah. All the best, brother. We'll talk soon.
Yeah. Come on, you
yeah. Have it.